What is up, everyone? It's Dom here from JoJo Productions, and today we're going to talk about concerts. Let's do it. Today, I'm going to give you some tips and pointers and pretty much just how to shoot concerts. Now, the biggest question that I'm going to ask is, can I have access to the stage? Because if I don't have access to the stage, the equipment that I'm going to use is going to be a little bit different. So, with that said, let's get into equipment. If I am allowed to get on the stage, I'm going to use some different kind of lenses. But before we do that, let's get into the camera body. The first camera body that I use is this guy right here. This is the Nikon D850. It is a full frame megapixel monster, and it does pretty darn good in low light. So yeah, first of all, you're going to need a camera that's good at low light. This guy is definitely it. It does pretty darn good. But most importantly is the lens. Which lens do you have? So, for the most part, when doing indoor concert stuff, we want really good fast lenses. Anything with an aperture of f2.8 or faster. So this guy right here is the 17 to 35 f2.8. It's a great lens, it's very sharp, and it does let in a lot of light. So, this is also a fantastic lens if I can just get up on stage. I like to shoot a lot of wide shots because it makes everything look just a lot more epic and a lot more badass, to say the least. So, if you can get on the stage, shoot a wide lens. It just looks really, really cool. I love using it on my drummer. Drummers love it. Most people just like the wide angle lenses because it's just different and it looks epic. But let's say you can't get on stage. What are you gonna do now? Well, you're gonna need some longer lenses, obviously, depending on how far away you are from the stage. If you're closer to the stage, I would say something like this guy is definitely a good choice. This is the 50mm 1.8. It's a pretty standard focal length, and it has that great aperture of 1.8, which means it's gonna let in a lot of light. Also, it's going to give you that blurry background. So this, definitely a great choice. Let's say you have to stand a little further back from the stage and you need a longer lens. This guy is definitely a great lens. This is the Nikon 80 to 200 f2.8. It's got that 200mm range, which is just great for zooming in. And it also has that f2.8 aperture for, again, letting in lots of light and getting the nice blurry background. This is a fantastic choice. Also, it's very inexpensive nowadays. I think you can pick up one of these for like 400 bucks. So if you can't afford a really nice 70 to 200, maybe try looking at one of these. This is a great lens. What I just showed you was a lot of money in equipment. Let's just say you don't have, I'd say, nearly $5,000 to spend on equipment. Well, here's a great alternative. This is the Nikon D7200, and for a very, very long time, I was just shooting on this guy for everything, really, for video, stills, all of it. I was just shooting on this, and I've got to say, if I can get good results from a camera like this might be the best choice for you, especially if you're on a budget. You can pick up one of these guys for probably less than $500 now. What I have on the front of it is the 35mm 1.8. This is a fantastic lens to use, and so is that nifty little 50 that I was talking about. These two are fantastic lenses, and for the most part, you could probably just get the job done with these two lenses and the camera. So there you go. Now let's say it's just so dark that you just can't handle it and nothing is working. You're gonna need some lighting. So let's talk about lighting. Now, for me, I use this big guy. This is the Westcott FJ400. It's a big flash, as you can see. Do I recommend taking one of these to every single concert? Probably not. Let's just use speed flashes instead. Those are going to do a lot better. They're going to be smaller, lighter, and they're still going to produce enough light to light up the stage and stuff like that. So smaller speed lights, like for me, the Westcott FJ80, you know, something like a Godox V1, any of the other speed lights, those will work great. I like using off-camera flash, so the Westcott FJ400 is a great option. If you are into off-camera lighting, do it. I love using the off-camera light stuff. To me, it just looks a lot better than having direct flash or on-camera flash. I just like the professional look that it gives. Now, as far as video goes, I use the Panasonic GH5S, and I love it because it has the great low light performance, and I can also use a bunch of frame rates. I can shoot up to like 240 frames per second, which is absolutely ridiculous. I very rarely ever shoot that that fast. The only time that I'm ever really gonna shoot like that is when I'm shooting outside and I have a lot of light to use. Then I will definitely do that. But for the most part, I'll shoot anywhere between 60 frames and 120 frames per second. I like that 120 frames per second when I'm shooting outside. It seems perfect. It slows down everything the way I want it to. But if I'm shooting indoors and it's really dark, I just shoot mostly 60 frames per second. Now, as far as the lenses go, I use pretty much all of the same lenses that I had just mentioned. So that 35, the 50, the 17 to 35, and then I also have a 10 to 24, which you are watching me from right now. With all of that said, I think there are some very great equipment options. Let's get into the tips part of this video. If I could give you like a first timer some tips on how to shoot, I would say just move around as much as you can. Get behind, get in front, get above, below, just get all of the angles that you can. And this goes back to, are you allowed on the stage? If you are allowed on the stage, take it. You can get up close and personal. I like getting on stage and shooting like above the drummer, shooting above, shooting below. If I can get on stage, it means more options for pictures and video, which means I'm gonna have a lot more to work with. Plus, the clients are gonna love that. Also, it'll just get you shots that most people aren't gonna be able to get. So if you can get on stage, do it. Take advantage of it. You can get some really, really nice shots with that. But if you're not allowed on stage, just get to where you can. Move around all over. Get way far back, get as close as you can, get to the right side, the left side. If you can come around to the back of the stage, do it, shoot that. Just move around. That is the biggest tip that I can give you. For all you video shooters, this might seem obvious and it might kind of seem overdone, but using like high frame rates like 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second will always look the best because slow motion stuff just makes everything look epic. And if you can make a musician look epic, they're gonna love that, especially if they have long hair. If they have a lot of hair, that always looks really cool. So there you guys go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you loved it, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section below. I'll be sure to get to those. And until next time, we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.